Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Paramahamsa Sri Pradikacharya Stotra Satta Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Celebrate Charandar Bhakti Vedanta Swami Sri Prabhupada ki Santa Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Kandibiti Founder Chairs Divine Grace of the Prabhupada ki Namasarya Sri Dahadya Sakur ki Samabhata Bhakta Vrinda ki Hari Nam Sankirtan ki Grantaraj Bhagavatam ki Jai Gaur Pimanande all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru to Sri Gauranga, all glories to Sri Prabhupada. Om Ajnanatirandasya Gyananjana Sarakaya Katsundridam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manopistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kalamaham Dadati Swapadam Tikam Vandeham Shri Guru Sri Jita Palakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Sya Sri Rupam Sagradatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tvam Sajivam Svadvaitam Svavadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakanditam Hai Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tatakansana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Suti Devi Pranamami Kaviri Panchakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Jaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tamo Jayam Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a very means of conquest, let us first offer our respectful obeisances unto Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto Nara, Narayan Rishi, the supremmost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta Prayasabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Tamashloke Bhaktir Bhaviti Naistiki. By regularly hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering a service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome within the heart becomes destroyed practically to nil, and loving devotional service unto the Supreme Lord. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Pranam Brahma Samhitam Uttama Charitam Chakara Bhagavan Rishi Nishreya Sayalokasya Anyam Swasya Namaha. The Srimad Bhagavatam, known as the Grantaraj, the king of all Vedic literatures, is the literary incarnation of God. It is compiled by the incarnation of God, the seed of Vyasadeva. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people. It is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Surabhyay Namaha Om Surabhyay Namaha Om Surabhyay Namaha Mukam karoti vasalam pagom langayate girim yakripa samahapamge Sri Gurum Dinataranam yakripa samahapamge Sri Gurum Dinataranam. Hare Krishna. Welcome to our Bhagavatam class, continuing from second canto. Today we are fourth chapter. Fourth chapter. Yeah, today we're beginning a new chapter. We have just completed third chapter entitled Pure Devotional Service, and this chapter is entitled The Process of Creation. It is the continuation of Parikshit Maharaj presenting questions to Shukadeva Goswami. So today we will go to text number 1. Sri Sutta Uvacha Vaya Saker Iti Vachas Tattva Nischayam Atmanaha Upadharya Matim Krishne Otareyaha Satim Vyadhat Sutta Uvacha Vaya Sakariti Vatsa Tattva Nischayamatmanaha Padharya Matim Krishne Otareya Satim Vyadhat Sutta Vacha Vaya Sakariti Vachas
Vayasakiriti vacha
Tattva nischayamaत्मनः
Tattva nishayamaत्मनः
Upadharya Krishne
Upadharya matim Krishne
Tareya satim vyadhat
Tareya tatem vyadhat
Sutta uvacha
Sutta vacha
Vaya sakariti vacha
Vayasakiriti vacha
Tattva nischayamaत्मनः
Tattva nishayamaत्मनः
Upadharya Krishne
Upadharya matim Krishne
Tareya satim vyadhat
Tareya tatem vyadhat Sutta vacha
Sutta uvacha
Vayasakiriti vachas
Vaya sakariti vacha
Tattva nishayamaत्मनः
Tattvam nischayamaत्मनः
Upadharaya matim Krishna
Upadharya Krishne
Utaraya satim yadat
Tareya satim vyadhat
Sutta uvacha
Sutta vacha
Vayasakiriti vacha
Vayasakiriti vacha
Tattva nichayatmana
Tattva nichayamaत्मनः
Upadharya matim Krishne
Upadharya matim Krishna
Uttaraya satim vyadat
Utaraya satim yadat
Sutta uvacha
Sutta vacha
Vayasakir iti vacha
Vayasakiriti vacha
Tattva nischayam atmanah
Tattva nichayamaत्मनः
Upadharya matim Krishne
Upadharya matim Krishna
Uttareyah satim vyadhat
Utaraya satim yadat
Sutta uvacha
Sutta vacha
Vayasakiritim yasya
Vayasakiriti vacha
Tattva nischayatmana
Tattva nishayamaत्मनः
Upadharyam matim Krishna
Upadharya matim Krishna
Uttareya satim yadat
Utaraya satim yadat
Sutta uvacha
Sutta vacha
Sutta Goswami said
Sutta Goswami said
Vaya sakehe
Vayasakhe
of Shukadeva Goswami
of Kadeva Goswami
iti
Iti
thus
thus
vachaha
Vachaha
speeches
speeches
tattva nischayam
Tattva nishayam
that which verifies the truth
That which verifies the truth
atmanaha
Atmanaha
in the self
in the self
upadharya
Upadharya
just having realized
just having realized
matim
Matim
concentration of the mind
concentration of the mind
Krishna
Krishna
unto Lord Krishna
unto Lord Krishna
Uttareyaha
Utaraya
the son of Uttara
the son of Uttara
Satim
Satim
chaste
yes
Vyadhat
Yadat
applied.
applied
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Sutta Goswami said, Maharaj Parikshit, the son of Uttara, after hearing the speeches of Shukadeva Goswami, which were all about the truth of the self, applied his concentration faithfully upon Lord Krishna. Can you repeat after me? Sutta Goswami said,
Sutta Goswami said
Maharaj Parikshit,
Maharaj Parikshit
the son of Uttara,
the son of Uttara
after hearing the speeches
after hearing the speeches
of Shukadeva Goswami,
of Shukadeva Goswami
which were all about
which were all about
the truth of the self,
the truth of the self
applied his concentration faithfully
applied his concentration faithfully
upon Lord Krishna.
on Lord Krishna.
Report. The word satim is very significant. This means existing and chaste. And both imports are perfectly applicable in the case of Maharaj Pariksit. The whole Vedic adventure is to draw one's attention entirely unto the lotus feet of Lord Krishna without any diversion, as instructed in the Bhagavad Gita 15:15. Fortunately, Maharaj Parikshit had already been attracted to the Lord from the very beginning of his body in the womb of his mother. In the womb of his mother, he was struck by the Brahmastra atomic bomb released by Ashwatthama. But by the grace of the Lord, he was saved from being burnt by the fiery weapon. And since then, the king continuously concentrated his mind upon Lord Krishna, which made him perfectly chaste in devotional service. So by natural sequence, he was a chaste devotee of the Lord. And when he further heard from Srila Shukadeva Goswami that one should worship the Lord only and no one else, even though full of all desires or desireless, his natural affection for Krishna was strengthened. We have already discussed these topics. To become a pure devotee of Lord Krishna, two things are very much essential, namely, having a chance to be born in the family of a devotee and having the blessings of a bona fide spiritual master. By the grace of the Lord, by the grace of Lord Krishna, Parikshit Maharaj had both opportunities. He was born in a family of such devotees as the Pandavas, and just to continue the dynasty of the Pandavas and show them special favor, the Lord specifically saved Maharaj Parikshit, who later on, by the arrangement of the Lord, was cursed by the boy of a Brahmana and was able to get the association of such a spiritual master as Shukadeva Goswami. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that a fortunate person, by the mercy of the spiritual master and Lord Krishna, achieves the path of devotional service. This was perfectly applicable in the case of Maharaj Parikshit. By way of being born in a family of devotees, he automatically came in touch with Krishna. And after being so contacted, he constantly remembered him. Consequently, Lord Krishna gave the king a further chance for development in devotional service by introducing him to Shukadeva Goswami, a stalwart devotee of the Lord with perfect knowledge and self-realization. And by hearing from a bona fide spiritual master, he was perfectly able to concentrate his chaste mind further upon Lord Krishna as a matter of course. Translation again. Sutta Goswami said, Maharaj Parikshit, the son of Uttara, after hearing the speeches of Shukadeva Goswami, which were all about the truth of the self, applied his concentration faithfully upon Lord Krishna. Mm. So we are uh, reminded of the history, very unusual history of how Maharaj Parikshit was uh, protected in the womb of his mother. This brings us back to the Kurukshetra uh, whole history, where Abhimanyu, the husband of uh, Uttara, uh, was very, very young and was killed uh, unfairly in the Battle of Kurukshetra. Uh, at that time, his wife Uttara was pregnant, and Aswatthama, as Prabhupada is referring to here, in wanting to actually destroy uh, the lineage, very important aspect. Mm, there's a Kshatriya lineage. Uh, it is one of the um, aspects which is also being referred to here in terms of, of spiritual life. Uh, there's we could say, material lineage in terms of belonging to some particular family. The whole uh, lineage is connected with parampara. So there's material lineage. Uh, normally, the eldest son of a king would be crowned to become the next king. And there is what is being referred to here, spiritual lineage. Spiritual lineage means if one is fortunate to be born in a devotee family, as the case of Parikshit Maharaj. Uh, in other places, Prabhupada mentions how my Guru Maharaj also was born in a Vaishnava family. And also, by some great fortune, I was also born, Prabhupada is explaining, in a Vaishnava family, which gives a tremendous opportunity for one to to advance and progress in spiritual life. So these two nice points that Prabhupada is making, that in order to more easily become successful in spiritual life, to advance in spiritual life, if one has these two things, then uh, very good opportunity to advance. One of them being born in a family of devotees, Vaishnava family, and the other one to actually have the good fortune of coming in contact with a bona fide spiritual master. Prabhupada also elaborates on this, as he often does actually, this word satim, which he translates as uh, chaste and existing and chaste. And he repeats this word chaste actually. Uh, devotee means someone who is chaste means not going anywhere else. It's like one of the foremost qualities mentioned by Narada Muni in describing the role and position of women in society. A wife should be having two characteristics: shyness and chastity. Unfortunately, very much missing in modern day society. uh, Wife is meant to be chaste to her husband, chaste to her vows when uh, accepting the husband, and also shyness, because in Vedic culture, very, very different than modern day society. Women are not meant to just mix with men. For that matter, men are also not meant to mix with women. uh, so chastity is being stressed here in the context of, uh, we can understand it uh, in the context of relationship between disciple and spiritual master, or ultimately relationship between the living entity and Krishna. Isn't it? We are all in the material world because we have not been chaste to Krishna, isn't it? Because we have looked elsewhere. Being chaste means one is totally fixed at the lotus feet of one's master. This is also nicely, and I don't have the Bhagavad Gita. Somehow it was taken away. In the 14th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna is speaking about the modes of material nature, after giving a very elaborate explanation to Arjuna, then Arjuna asks the question, how to become freed from these modes of material nature. What are the symptoms of someone who is free from these modes of material nature? And then Krishna replies, he gives the different symptoms and characteristics and how to achieve that. Then he mentions about uh, the process of bhakti yoga, uh, which is meant to be, in order to be successful in obtaining the desired result. Um, there's one particular word which refers also to chastity. Uh, Otherwise, uh, one becomes like a prostitute. Uh, we should have this understanding that when our senses are not engaged in Krishna's service, because our senses belong to Him, then uh, it is like a prostitute. She uh, she's engaged with all kinds of persons. Hare Krishna. Yes. Seva. So chastity is being nicely explained here by Srila Prabhupada. Chastity has to do with being faithful, isn't it? Being faithful, either in the case of wife, being faithful to the husband, in the case of a disciple, being faithful to the spiritual master, ultimately being faithful to Krishna by um, fixing, by uh, focusing, concentrating our mind on our primary business, primary duty and responsibility, which is to render different types of services to the Supreme Lord. So here Prabhupada is glorifying uh, Parikshit Maharaj, or from the very from the very beginning. I mean, from being in the womb, from the moment he was in the womb of his mother, uh, coming, being connected with the devotee family, and then at the very tail end of his life, meeting a personality like Shukadeva Goswami. Uh, we hear in the Shastra how it is most auspicious, obviously, that before one leaves the body, he gets the opportunity that like some Brahmana will visit or some Vaishnava will make his presence so that that particular individual gets opportunity to remember, isn't it? Ante Narayana Smriti, as mentioned in the Bhagavatam, at the end of life, perfection of life, is to Smriti, to remember Narayan, to remember Krishna. So that remembrance of Narayan will come more easily if we have these two things. If we are, most of us are not born, especially outside of India, most of us are not born in a Vaishnava family, but Prabhupada has created a family, International Family of Krishna Consciousness, International Society of Krishna Consciousness. So anyone who joins this movement,
background will change.
Yes, absolutely. So that's why sometimes it is, not sometimes, the injunction is there in the Shastra. One should not ask a sadhu what he was doing before or where he was. It's like it's a different life, it's a different, yeah. So yes, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, so many conditioned souls have gotten this opportunity and also will continue because Prabhupada's mercy of the Vaishnavas continues even after their physical uh, disappearance. Will get opportunity, have gotten the opportunity to be part of Krishna's family, of the Vaishnava family. And by this association with devotees, then one gets opportunity to hear from both Shiksha Guru and Diksha Guru. So this is nicely pointed out here by Srila Prabhupada. Formula for making one's life successful. Yeah, other points Prabhupada is mentioning. Um, quoting also from Brahmanda Brahmite Kono Bhagyavan Najeev Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Beej. Yeah, Bhakti Lata Beej is available by the mercy of a bona fide spiritual master. Any thoughts on this?
Maharaj, I would like to say about my situation where I was
Yes.
not in Krishna consciousness. By your mercy, your disciples gave the mercy in Radha Gopinath temple. Guru Krishna Kripai Pai Bhakti Lata Beej. That happened with me.
Secunderabad.
Secunderabad.
Yeah, Radha Gopinath. Yes, all of us, actually most devotees, at some point come in contact with some devotee come in contact with.
They gave this Prabhupada Bhagavad Gita,
Ah,
and from there this journey started.
yes, yes. Yeah, it's very interesting. We this devotee, proper disciple, Siddhanta, as for many years now, he's been interviewing different devotees. And one of the questions he's asking, when and how did you join? Everyone naturally has a very unique history. Some of them quite complex, but yeah, everyone being unique, everyone in sometimes in very extraordinary ways. Krishna is uh, giving opportunity to so many living entities to come in contact. Yeah.
Raj, how is it that I have a friend, he have two sons, and the sons are living here in Whirlpool.
Grown up sons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they born in Hungary and they came here with family. I know they are studying here in Whirlpool.
Oh, okay.
And one day my friend told that his younger son came and told, Father, I don't think Krishna is exist, and I think that creation is just by chance happened. And
I
he was
don't
very
think that
serious.
Krishna exists then.
Mhm.
I don't think that Krishna exists and then
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, and the matter word is just came by chance. It's nothing. No one created it.
Okay.
And he told that it's my belief. And
Right.
he was very serious to say that.
Uh-huh.
So what to do then?
How old was he?
14.
40, yeah, yeah.
It's just of time. Oh no, 11. He's 11.
11, huh?
Yeah, he's just came realized that. But that is my realization.
Right. Yeah.
So he took birth in a Vaishnava family. Their parents are, of course, not fully, realized profession, but they are very serious.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they meet with that situation.
Actually, it's like you're mentioning how here's a devotee family. They've come to Mayapur. They have two children, and one of them, all of a sudden, one fine day, tells his parents that, and he's only still quite young, 11 or 14. I think Krishna doesn't exist. This is this fantasy story, and this material world happened by chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then what you do?
And then what to do? Actually, many, yeah. Well, naturally, that particular soul in that body has only fulfilled 50% of the formula. Yeah, has yet to find the spiritual master. Um, something similar happens in many devotee families. When children are young, it's very easy, to have them follow because they're small and the parents are big. So usually small people listen to big people. So they will attend the program, they will chant and so many things. But then, yeah, the critical period are the teenage years, from the age of like 13 to 19. You see, the teenage years are where one grows up and starts thinking more on his own, etc., like that. And very often, yeah, people will have what they call a loss of faith, and um, um, it's generally very difficult for parents. Shocking at times also because it's like, hey, all these years you're born in a devotee family, getting all kinds of good association, and then so um, parents need to understand that Krishna consciousness is something that each individual soul has to personally, uh, voluntarily accept. So temporarily one, uh, may not accept, and parents have to cope with that as best as they can by uh, uh, still, because such a person is still dependent, isn't it? Teenagers are still dependent. I mean, one becomes an adult, at the age of 18 or so, approximately. So, um, parents need to, somehow accommodate, and live with the fact that some of their children may not want to practice Krishna consciousness, but, uh, still, uh, they will, encourage them to practice the basic, principles that are there, basic principles that make up Krishna consciousness. Satyam, Daya, Tapa, Socham. Or means even if somebody is not Krishna conscious, we should teach people to be, to develop good character, etc. All these things one may not. And Prabhupada explains that actually the best way that parents can help their children, because ultimately by nature parents want what is best for their children, good parents, decent parents. So Prabhupada explains the best way they can actually help their children is simply by being good examples themselves. And then their child at some later stage may or may not, it's not guaranteed. Even parents may be, take the example of Advaita Acharya, Vishnu Tattva, Supreme Personality, and yet half of his, children left Krishna consciousness, isn't it? So what to speak of common men, of devotees who are not on that level or platform. Um, so parents should continue to, should not be overly discouraged, knowing and understanding that every jiva is an individual soul who has to make that choice, and sometimes, when I was younger, I lost faith also in Christianity at some point. Although I was in a seminary, you're in a seminary, you're supposed to know more, and you're preparing actually to become like a priest. But, it happens to many people, that for different reasons they will, uh, develop a lack of faith, or may lose faith completely. Uh, and then, uh, very often people come back at some particular point. Otherwise, there is no meaning to. Prabhupada explains, isn't it, to the living entity having this minute independence. Krishna is independent by nature. Um, Living entity is also independent, and, one has to voluntarily, accept Krishna consciousness. And for some, it may, even though born in a devotee family, so at some point, such a devotee, let's say, born in a devotee family, at some point will meet, good chances that he'll meet a devotee who might, uh, uh, inspire him to reconsider and take up Krishna consciousness at a different age. So, uh, big responsibility naturally for parents, and unless one is strong in one's Krishna consciousness, one may find difficulty in dealing with that situation. So parents, if they are confused, or then they need to consult maybe with some senior devotees. They should continue to be caring for, because we are caring for, devotees by nature. That is the most important quality. Compassion upon all living entities. We're compassionate upon, Nityananda Prabhu was compassionate upon Jagai Madai. So, uh, so parents need to continue to be loving parents to their children, even though they may make such kind of decision, and then um, pray that they will, at some particular point, uh, reconsider. But it's natural; it's quite natural at that age to have doubts, etc., like that.
I have another
Yeah,
to the other point that someone need these mercy of spiritual master. So it looks like Parikshit Maharaj was not, pushed or advised to have a spiritual master. He got it at the last of few days. So he lived without spiritual master. And I remember that Prabhupada's parents, I never heard that if they have a Vaishnava spiritual master or not. So it looks like in ISKCON is a little bit more, which does the point that you should have a spiritual master, and many times children and adults get spiritual master without really individually understanding that, and then later they have a lot of problems. So it just looks like the Vedic culture. It was not really so much in the focus that you should have a spiritual master. And for Vaishnavas also, like Parikshit or
no, actually, Prabhupada quotes there are various verses where it underlines the need and the importance of having spiritual master.
yes, okay, but how to, in a society, it's have a social pushing also, so have a social custom, if have or not. Uh, it looks like in a Eastern culture, it's not so much focus emphasize if you have or not. You're still a good Vaishnava. You are worshipping Vishnu without spiritual master or not. I don't know what is they have a family priest maybe.
Well, yes, traditionally they call Kulu Guru. Kulu Guru means family priest, was very much the standard. But most family priests, they may not be Sadguru, may not be even Vaishnava, right? Uh, so the concept and the need for spiritual master is there in Shastra, and also in the Indian culture, uh, Vedic culture. Um, Maybe it's more prominent within our society because uh, it's like an organization, and it's like one of the important. Prabhupada uh, spoke and preached quite strongly, quite regularly on the importance and the need for a spiritual master, and we may not hear about or know who was the spiritual master of Prabhupada's parents, for example, but generally that tradition uh, was there or is there. but to find very elevated, in Guru Parampara, um, is something quite unique or quite special. So in general, people in India, at least, they actually many devotees from India, for example, who joined, they were at an early age. They received some kind of guidance, or for example, if they're from Brahmana family, they already many devotees joined already with Brahmana thread. Then later on, they got proper initiation because it was generally, more in most cases, unless they were, which is rare, um, born in the like Sri Vaishnava family, um, and their initiation um, in that case would be bona fide. So it is there. I think within our ISKCON society, we give more emphasis than maybe in general society. Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki,
Jai.
Jai Shri Prabhupada ki, all the things.